Starting a new life in a foreign country can be very exciting, but it can also be there's going to be unexpected challenges in your marriage. And one of the most difficult challenges to face is the separation in your marriage. And so if this is happening to you or this has happened to you, don't worry, you're not alone. And honestly, I'm going to be giving you some life tips and strategies to help get you through this. So let's get into it. My name is Keanon Slade, and I have successfully fired. That is, I have achieved financial independence, retired early, and I live here permanently in Costa Rica. If you're somebody who's interested in making that type of life choice, whether it's Costa Rica or another country, then I want you to know that I'm a life coach and I help good guys find a great life outside the US. Today's topic is very personal, if you will. It was something that actually happened to me. Came down to Costa Rica and I wanted to have a good life for my family, had good plans, visions, and dreams. But I also thought that moving to a different country, which I see a lot of expats dealing with this, is you think it's going to fix the problems in your marriage. You're like, okay, we have problems in our marriage. If we're in a nice scenic place, everything is going to be okay. And that honestly doesn't work. If you're not willing or your partner's not willing to work on the underlying problems, then no matter where you go, there you are. You're going to have those problems. It worked out a year here because the first year was full of distraction. But when it became time to deal with the root of things didn't quite work out in my favor. I see this with couples who enter here and enter Costa Rica in particular. It happens in all other places where their partners are not in line. And so there's this, okay, I follow you wherever you go, but then it's not really, I didn't sign up, I didn't look into it. There's the missing conversation of, okay, you got a purpose here? What is my purpose? It's not just, I'm going to follow you. What happens is the partner leaves or things happen, there's a separation. Some of those could be lack of communication, previous problems. In my case, in the marriage, my case actually had nothing to do with the country in itself. But there's some people that get into it because they don't take the proper steps in their marriage and talk about, okay, this is going to be a life change. First thing that you need to do is give time to grieve and process the separation. This is important because it's not just grieving from the person. There's the grieving, or maybe you were upset or mad or whatever, and so you're not quite grieving that, but you're grieving the dream of this was going to be the life, this was going to be the thing. You're grieving the loss of the dream. I'm going to be here with this particular person. The family's going to be set up this way. And this is the picture. We've worked really hard to get to here and you're not here, or the pieces are not fitting on like they would be. And your dream is actually changed. You need to allow yourself time to grieve. That means you need to be able to feel the emotions. You need to actually be able to handle, come to terms with that life has changed. This is something that happens. Life changes all the time, but man, when it happens in your marriage, it hits a whole different way. That takes time to get adjusted to. If you are watching the video and this is actually one of your circumstances or you're concerned about it, I want you guys to watch through to the very end so that you don't miss it. We're going to put this whole thing together like a good sandwich. You just got the bread. Let's get into the meat. The next thing that you want to do is to be able to get help. I know as a man, it's like, all right, we'll just muscle through it. It's blah, 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 her fault, my fault, whatever it is, da, 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 but it's all right. No, you want to be able to get help. Now, my problems unfolded with the pandemic, so everybody going virtual, now it's still there. I want you to realize there are virtual helps to have people to talk to. Because if you're in a country that the language is a barrier, honestly, when I went through my first good counselor, it was Spanish, but there was a language barrier. I could get through a good chunk of the Spanish, but then every once in a while it was like translator time. Going through that journey, with some professional help, and yes, all friends, and we'll get to that, but getting that professional help, I did end up transitioning to an English speaker. So you want to make sure that you're getting help. You're not doing it alone. You're not in your head. You're actually growing. And I talk about fixing growth mindsets, and while this doesn't feel like this should be the place for it, this is honestly absolutely the place for it. Like, this sucks, but what are we going to do better? How are we going to grow? How are we going to make the best of this opportunity? What are we going to change? What decisions are we going to make? And so those things actually come from the growth mindset. And the reason why I say that, and I put this here, it was actually a sneaky add-on, because it's like, I didn't write this point down. Why in the world would I miss that? Because I needed to connect to the other points. The other point is that you need to be able to, once you got the professional help, be able to cultivate new friendships. What that means is you're in a different country, maybe you just got there or maybe you didn't, and you can end up in a few different situations. For me, most of my friends I've known, I don't know, 20, 30 years. For me to meet a new friend was generally when I had my big get-togethers once a month, somebody would bring a new person. I didn't really have to try hard to make new friends. But then when I got to Costa Rica, people only knew me as Keanon the married person. And because they only knew me as Keanon the married person, there was a lot of people, such the married couples, that were like, you're separated now. They didn't know my details, but they're like, there's not a two of you. We can't handle that. And so you had to be able to cultivate friendship because the goal is not to be alone. And I don't mean that in find a relationship. No, I'm not saying that. Nope. Not finding the boys that you can hang out with. We're just gonna go get drunk. No, not those type of relationships, but good relationships that you can spend, that you're not just sitting in the house in the four walls and in your paradise country, like we're not doing anything. No, you're going to actually find things that are enjoyable to you. That really starts with a friendship, finding friendships and being part of things that bring you joy. This the type of thing is some of the things that you have to consider. I won't call it the ugly side of moving to a different country because that is not a given, especially if you have the conversation and you're making plans about how we're going to see and visit and da 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 da. You can alleviate a lot of that weight. But these are the things that are really important. If this is something that you're interested in, that's resonating with you, and the gotchas of moving to a different country, because I'm not trying to scare you because it is very exciting, very, very exciting, and honestly good. And I can't be happier. But these are the things that I want you to do. I want you to click the link below, again, especially if you're looking to relocate and potentially fire before you get to the relocation part. So whatever order you're going to have it in, I want you to have the right tools that will actually help you on your journey. This also brings in the part of separation. This is the next point, is that you want to be able to, as you got finding friends, is to be able to reconnect with some hobbies. Maybe you were doing something that got neglected, or you're like, oh, I didn't do that because my partner didn't like doing it. Well, now go do it. Go to the beach, go read a book, go to get a book club, go do Zumba, martial arts, Krav Maga, whatever it is, go parasailing. Connect with the hobbies that bring you joy. The idea is over time, this is not a do everything every night, just boom, 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 boom. No, this is I'm getting professional help, I'm hanging out with friends locally. We'll get to the other friends later. I'm doing activities, positive activities. I'm healing. The dream is changing. Let's see what else the dream has to offer. Because I didn't picture this, but let's see where else life can take me. And so that's where you want to actually be like, okay, there's some other activities that I can get in. The question for you today are, what hobbies or interests that you would like to get into that you pursue to rediscover yourself after the separation? So I want you to share below, and guys, keep it clean. Seriously, keep it clean. The next part of that is actually being able to take care of yourself physically, emotionally. This is the reason why good friends will get you out the house. You're not going to just sit in there eating ice cream and laying around and getting fat and you want to be outside, exercising, make sure you're getting enough sleep. Like I said, you're seeking professional help, and you're going to do self-care that's actually going to rebuild you and help maintain you and give you a strong sense of worth. Because a lot of times the separation is, well, what did I do wrong? And whether that's something that's true, how do you get past that? Sometimes I didn't do anything wrong. It was just not a great marriage, and we've been going through problems. I thought this would solve it, didn't solve it. Now I feel stupid. Whatever it is, you're going to actually have to take self-care, and this is one of the most important tools that you can take care of your mind. You have to be able to take care of your mind. That is part of the journey. The next thing is to embrace the change, and so this is like the growth mindset, not the fixed mindset that says, oh, I must have messed up, or this marriage was crap in the first place, I'm never getting married, I hate marriage, or whatever it is. I'm going down that route. But it's like, what could we improve, or how can I improve for myself now? I know I cannot change someone. That person has to change themselves, just like they can't change me. I have to be the one to change me. And so you're thinking about, how can I grow? How can I change? How can I explore what I need to be? Am I praying enough? Am I in my Bible enough? Am I doing the things that are going to help grow me physically, spiritually, and help me to be a better person from this situation? And this brings in also the friends. And so for me, the biggest part of embracing the change was I'm sitting here and the pandemic hit. I had a local church, it was in Spanish, but what really helped me was finding a church that was broadcasting through YouTube, and it happens to be Transformation Church. I was able to get into B groups or Bible study groups or belong groups. Technically, they're belong groups or small groups. There's a lot of titles for the same thing. But to be able to get around people, even if it was virtually, technically all around the world, that I could actually talk and share and they would pray for me. It was helping me to embrace the change, get through. I had professional help. Now I got the friendship help. Now I have friends that are locally, and we went out as much as, at the time, again, pandemic, much as possible during certain stages. If not, we would just talk virtually. I wasn't alone, even though my daughter lives with me. That's a whole nother story. But I wasn't alone on that aspect. I had people that I could talk to. I had prayer warriors that were in my corners, and they helped me embrace the change, figure out the things that I need to figure out within myself, with my relationship with God, who He is and who I am, my new identity. All that stuff came from embracing the change. And so those things actually helped me. This brings us to our last point, which is reclaim your identity, discover your value. Whatever you had while you were married, sometimes we take on I'm the husband, and that was me. I'm the best husband. I'm the best father. I'm going to be the best son, best worker. I was struggling with that, honestly. I realized through professional help, through friends, that you're focusing on the wrong thing. You have a fixed mindset. We didn't say that, but you have a fixed mindset in this area where you have to be perfect. I didn't have my identity in Christ. I'm a Christian, but it was like, whether I did good and bad, whether father, son, I'm one of these. Oh, up, down, failure, success, failure, success, yes. Yeah, that stuff I had to work through, and I had to go through. I had to take the steps to actually line with my true self of being a child of God first, and then all the other things come afterwards. Seek the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and everything else comes. So it was about refocusing, not just mentally, but my heart and my desires after the separation. Oh, I've lost track here, trying to be the right husband, the right thing. And so those things I was tripping on. If this is resonating for you, I want you guys to click the link below, especially to get over some of the gotchas that come with moving abroad, and especially those who are trying to do that to fire. Do it while they fire. I want you guys to click the link below, and I will see you in the next video. See you on the other side.